damn.
It happens every night.
Every old night.
And I ain't never met a riverboat dealer that could ever be a friend of mine.
No.
The summer heat never treats me kind. It leaves trouble on my mind. So I'm bidding farewell, putting in my notice, and I'll see you at another time.
Sing.
This highway does not know my name, and I don't care.
Nah.
No, I don't care.
Nah.
Headed my way for another place, and I got 3 good tires and
Right to the hook right here.
Just a white line gypsy getting out of Mississippi with just enough gas to get there.
Low budget live, the not so live version for the first time in about a daggum month of Sundays, as my granddaddy used to say. It has been a minute since we've gone not so live, and this is the podcast for Monday, September the 16th. For all you low-lifers out there, and I appreciate each and every one of you tuning in each and every week. We've been having fun on the lives, man, but I'll be honest, I'm glad to kind of be back not so live this week because they get a little crazy, but all fun, and there's been a lot of y'all that have been tuning in, man. But bass fishing, which is, you know, what we talk about here at Low Budget Live, more than we do anything else. The world has been crazy, so there's been plenty to talk about. I appreciate y'all tuning in for Dunkin' Butts 3 this past week. It was a good time. Josh Butts, one of my favorite humans on planet Earth, and you just never know what's going to happen. So great time with Josh last Monday night. A lot of y'all tuned in for that, and I greatly appreciate that. And like I said, we are back in the bar and grill for another Not So Live this week. Life has been, a little wild, a little crazy, lots going on behind the scenes, but I've been getting to spend some time with family, and that is it's a good thing right now. That's a good thing right now, and need that time right now with lots going on outside of my family. It's good to be with them. Been getting to spend time with my dad and my brother lately, and all good. We actually had a fishing sale, baits and biscuits we called it, up here in southern Middle Tennessee this past Saturday. I actually forgot to mention that on the podcast last week, and I just promoted it on social a little bit. Absolute terrible weather, just awful, as bad as it gets, and lots of low-lifers showed up. It was awesome. Got to meet some of y'all. And we sold some fishing tackle, but basically my garage is just ridiculously overstuffed with gear, and have a good buddy of mine, Byron Childers, who works for Missile Bait Company. Byron is like a big swim bait. He's just in that world, and I feel like a lot of it revolves around Byron and that big swim bait trade. He's always just like, hey man, you need one of these? I got it. And Byron came down, set up, sold some swim baits. Justin Atkins, Elite Series Pro. Justin rolled up and brought. He had a ton of Fenwick rods, and that he had used. He was getting rid of, and brought a ton of tackle from his garage. And man, we had a time. And then Marty D, my dad, he set up to sell biscuits. That was the biscuits part of the bait and biscuits. And he sold biscuits for charity for a kid's place here in Lawrenceburg, Tennessee. So, again, complete deluge of rain, like it was ridiculous, but a good time. Got rid of some stuff that has been, and good stuff, man. There was a lot, and I still got a lot of good stuff. So we're going to do another one of these, but sold a good bit of it, but still got a lot. And it's like I said, I'm a very, very, very fortunate man. I've been in this fishing industry since I was a kid, really. And when you have partnerships over the years, you are able to accumulate just a lot of tackle. And then when I was fishing the FLW tour, you're just going to all these different places all the time, and they're like, oh, well, they're biting that little winged cricket and green pumpkin soda pop or whatever, so you're like, damn, I gotta get some of them. So you just accumulate so many things over the years, and man, I'm still fishing a lot, but I just don't need all the stuff that I've got. So I tried to make some racehorse deals this past weekend, and hopefully if you're one of the low-lifers that slid on in here to Southern Middle Tennessee and picked you up some of it, I hope you enjoy it. And appreciate y'all all coming out. And I appreciate all the help, man. Like I said, my little bro was there. We were setting up for it Friday till late Friday night, pricing stuff and just getting everything set up, and it was just so much fun. But I don't get to be around my brother Blake as much as I'd like to be. He works a ton, and obviously I've always just going a million miles an hour. So a lot of fun, man. So thanks to everybody who came out. Thanks to them. The Duncan crew, the Duncan men, for helping. And I had Harper there. Triple Threat came out for a little bit, and she had her own deal. She was selling greeting cards and canvases that she's painting up on Saturday as well. So when I left my sale, I went and helped her for a little bit. Helped her. She probably didn't want me there, but she had a little deal going on too, and she sold a lot of stuff. So a lot of good family time. Then we got to watch some football. Hope all y'all getting to do that too. Go Big Orange. That's what I'm going to say right now, because them Volunteers, it's been fun so far, but the real work starts in Norman, Oklahoma this coming Saturday. SEC play, so we shall see. Want to thank some sponsors. Then we're going to get into some goods, and then we're going to get into a great conversation with a great guest. Gill Fishing wants to give you a gift. GillFishing.com. GillFishing.com. Get on there, get you a rain suit, get you some sun shirts, get you a hat, get you some sun gloves. Some parts of the country, you're getting a little cooler. We are on the track for fall. Get you a hoodie. You can use code LBL promo right now, and you will get a free gift with any dollar amount you spend. LBL promo at GillFishing.com. ProGuideBatteries.com. LBL10 is the code there at ProGuideBatteries.com to save you money on some of the best batteries in the game, in my opinion. They've got fantastic AGMs. They've got their all-new lithiums, from trolling batteries all the way to amazing cranking batteries. Power up those electronics. Everybody got them electronics now. Pro Guide Batteries is where it's at. In my opinion, they've been in the battery business for 40 years. They're fantastic people making fantastic products. LBL10 at ProGuideBatteries.com. Lets them know you are a low lifer. Bait-works.com, bait-wrx.com. I see y'all using that code all the time, and it is much appreciated. Let them know that the low lifers are paying attention. It is the exclusive home of the LOB jig right here. The LOB actually stayed here last night. The LOB was passing through from La Crosse, Wisconsin, and actually spent the night. He said, man, I'm wore out. Is there any way I can stop in Tennessee? So the namesake, Lil Trey Swindle, the LOB jig, available at bait-wrx, bait-works.com. Duncan-10 lets them know you are a low lifer right there as well, and that works on everything at bait-works.com. And last but not least, you know what? Hang the banner. Express Boats, the Bassmaster Classic, first ever Bassmaster Classic won in aluminum boat, was won out of an Express X21 Pro. I'm running the X21 Pro LE with a 250 Yamaha show, and it has the fastest hole shot that I've ever been a part of in my life. It absolutely blows me away in performance every single time I'm out on the water. It's got a 96-inch beam, more tackle storage than you can shake a stick at. Sea deck bow to stern. The thing is a beast. Don't just take my word for it. Go check one out at a dealer, but also check out an X19. Maybe you're not in the market for a 21. Maybe your garage ain't big enough. That's okay. It's okay. Get you an H17, get you an H18, or the new H20, ready for a 175 Yamaha show, and that boat is a beast as well. Very affordable. Go check them out. ExpressBoats.com. Find a dealer close to you. Express Boats, building excitement since 1966. All right, man. Little Trey, like I mentioned, he hollered at me. He said, man, I'm wore out, dude. I've been on the road for a month. I ain't going to make it all the way back to Alabama. Is there any way I can crash on your couch? So Trey, he came. We watched the last half of the Georgia-Kentucky game, and then he went to bed and scurried off this morning before we could record a podcast, and headed on back to Alabama. He's been on the road for about a month. Just got back from that La Crosse Open where Cody Stahl took the win up there. Frogging, man, flipping. That tournament, the Mississippi River tournaments are always very cool. It is one of my places that just kicked just mentally stomped me the couple times. Actually, one time that I've been there. I've only fished it once. And it does, like when you watch it, it looks really fun. And it is when you land on them. But that is a tricky, tricky fishery. So congrats to Cody for figuring out the puzzle and putting it all together there, getting a big win, and going to the dang Bassmaster Classic, man. Nothing wrong with that. The EQs, they have one more tournament to go at Hartwell later this fall, and we will find out who's going to the Elite Series. That race is tight other than the top few. You've got Easton Fothergill just showing everybody what's up this year. Kid is a freak. We've talked about it a ton. He's still got the lead. Finished just right outside the top 10 in this one again. Absolute killer. Absolute killer. My old buddy Cody Meyer from the FLW days, man. I love me some Cody Meyer. Cody left BPT to pursue this journey. And, a lot of guys have done that, and it's not easy. And Cody going to be one of those guys, looks like, walking into the Elite Series after Lake Hartwell in second place right now. Couldn't happen to a better human. Fantastic person right there, Cody Meyer. Just, dude, he's one of the greatest fishermen maybe ever. Once it's all said and done, like, the dude is an absolute stone cold killer as well. But really tight race when you get down there, down into the points. I think it's tied in ninth place right now. So that'll be fun to watch going into Hartwell. It's just not just a sweep by any means on the 9 that are getting in. I think once you get past about fourth place, there's probably some sweaty dudes going into that final event there at Lake Hartwell to figure out how that's going to shake and who gets to go to the Elites. Trey was telling me that because of the Elite Series rule change, that the Opens had to have a rule change. I actually text the Opens anglers, were like, if you have a chance to make the Elites, basically, you can't be talking to your roommates. You can't really talk to anybody at lacrosse because lacrosse is on the Elite schedule. So I know all those rule changes really impacted a lot of folks. Trey was like, yeah, you felt like you couldn't talk, which Trey's like in the 20s in the EQ points, which is fantastic, but he's going to be out of that top 9 most likely after Hartwell. And he's like, man, it made it interesting because you're like, I can't talk to anybody. So very different curveball, to say the least, that those Opens guys got thrown this week, because they do have to play by the Elite rules, the guys that are going to make it. So that's the new rule that's gone into effect. And it happened. I think Bass probably were like, oh, crap, when we change this, it definitely impacts this lacrosse event. And I think they found that out during practice for that event. So kind of crazy with all the changes, man. There's so much going on in this sport right now. It's really hard to keep up with it. And something that happened that I want to acknowledge, and it sucks, man, because this is just another trail that's just kind of gone away. But the Toyota Series announced their schedule this week. I've sung high praise for the Toyota Series for many years. Mark McQuaw is a fantastic tournament director and person, does a great job. But they announced they're not going back out west. And I saw a lot of comments, man, and it's just a dang shame. I get it from an operations standpoint. It's hard for an East Coast trail to go out there for a lot of events. It is difficult, and we've seen that with Bass over the years. You've seen it with so many different trails. FLW's tried it with several different ones over the years, but this is the next one, and it's not how the West was won, it's how the West was lost, I guess. But thank goodness there are tournament trails going on out there. But man, it's just it sucks to see, man. I love keeping up with those events out there, and I'm sure the BFLs and things will be out there still. But Toyota's not going out west in 2025, and that was it's too bad to see, man. Like I said, I love keeping up with those West Coast Toyotas, and no more. So really, no AAA trail going out there in 2025. I hate to see that for sure. Last but not least, before we get to our very special guest, and I do mean special, polygraph drama. JT Tompkins released a video. Looked like he's being held hostage. I'm gonna be honest with you. Looked like he was reading a script. I did not do. No, I'm just playing. Cool your jets, people defending JT. Very awkward video, I will say that. But he flew to Florida. In this video, you can go see it on social media. He flew to Florida to get another polygraph from the best polygraph guy ever, because apparently it's the polygraph examiner's issue. It's why he failed. Okay, it's why he failed the polygraph that he had to take. over getting information, and he failed it, and Bass put out a statement, press release, right? It's DQ'd from the event because he failed a polygraph. Apparently, it was that polygraph examiner's fault, per this video, allegedly. The first video that JT made after he was DQ'd, he said polygraphs, and I am paraphrasing here. It's not a direct quote, but he said polygraphs, they're just not reliable, man. He might have been nervous, he might have been this, but they're not reliable. New video is, hey, man, I went and took a better polygraph. Polygraphs are awesome. Again, my words. Polygraphs are, I'm giving you a summary here. Polygraphs are awesome. This guy's best polygraph, and I passed it. Same questions. Boom! Sucker! Who shouldn't have been disqualified now, boy? What? I said this before. If you pass a polygraph when people are accusing you of things and you brag about it, or you just use that as a comeback like, well, I passed. I didn't cheat. And you say, yeah, polygraphs are good. But then you fail one and you go, ooh, polygraphs are bad and they're not reliable. And then when you do fail one, you hire another polygraph guy and you go, ooh, polygraphs are good again. And this guy's the best in the business at asking these questions. And I flew to Florida, and I hope none of my colleagues have to go through this ever. Bizarre. I'm sorry, dude. I've met JT a time or two. I think he's a nice young man. I think this entire situation is absolutely comical at this point. And I think sometimes, speaking from experience of a guy that's ran his mouth too much at times, just shut up. Because here's the deal. I'm going to say this. This is life advice. And trust me, I know this better than anybody. If people don't like you or they believe something about you, you're not going to change their mind. You're just not. My mother used to say, God rest her soul, what Teresa Duncan used to say, you're not going to win a puke fight with a buzzard. It was her favorite line to say. Like, you get to say, wow, mama, this boy at school said this, and I said this, and he said it back. And she'd say, you're never going to win a puke fight with a buzzard. Meaning, you're never going to change somebody's mind, for the most part. 99.9% of the time. So if somebody thinks you suck and you're crap, and that you, or if, in this case, if somebody thinks that you indeed cheated in a bass tournament, okay, and by getting information, breaking a rule, and you failed the polygraph, if they believe that, you defending yourself, like Bassmaster didn't release a statement, right, saying that their polygraph sucked. They released one saying you failed their polygraph, right? So I think sometimes it's best just to let it lie. Just shut up. You're not going to save face. You're just not. I don't believe. No matter what advice you're getting from people telling you, I just don't think that's a good look. And for me, I'd like to say this. Bass, and y'all know I ain't all about a fine. I'm not. Because I think these guys are paying customers, and I think fining a paying customer is kind of silly. Lee Livesey got fined for being pissed and making a comment on social media about it, on Bassmaster Social, and they fined him for doing so, for stating his opinion. That sucks. It's like the James Watson situation on a smaller scale, but it sucked. That sucks. But I don't know how you can, as an angler, once the organization you're a part of, who again fined Lee Livesey, they fined Chris Zaldane for getting in an argument on the water with a local. They fined Chris for that. I don't know how you can let the JT video go, basically calling your entire, checks and balances system garbage. Like, I don't know how you let that slide. That's weird for me. That was a weird one for me. That was my initial thought is, I wonder what the boys in Birmingham think about this. Because it's not a good look on any side. Like, it's just not, in my opinion. But again, look, man, at the end of the day, I don't care. Like, it doesn't affect me. I'm not fishing against him on the Elite Series if he's breaking rules, right? Like, I'm here. I'm doing a podcast, and I'm very busy doing other things. But I just report the news, ladies and gentlemen. But at the same time, like, it's got to be said over and over again. You cannot say polygraphs are not reliable, and then your defense mechanism is to say, well, this polygraph's the best polygraph ever because this guy that gives them is the best polygraph ever, and then you got a video clip of him awkwardly telling you why the original polygraph wasn't good and why JT didn't cheat, didn't break a rule. Like, it's bizarre, man. Very bizarre. So I would say maybe lay low. Just shut up. Make some posts about your sponsor stuff or something. Or like make one of them typical pro videos where you're like, well, I get a lot of questions about this. Just don't do it about polygraphs. Don't be like, well, I get a lot of questions about the questions on polygraphs. Don't make that video, right? Just let it ride. Just let it ride. Let it ride. There's been a lot of crap happen since then. I bet that a majority of the people, other than your competitors, are probably just like, nah, they've moved on to the next thing. They're bitching about college football. They're bitching about forward-facing sonar. They're bitching about their jobs. They're bitching about their business partners. They're bitching about something, right? So just roll on. Roll on, dog. Roll on, 18-wheeler. You'll be okay, young man. All right. So our guest today is a legend in the sport of bass fishing, in bass fishing media, in bass fishing tournaments. I dare say he's got one of the biggest followings, fan bases of anybody in the sport, really ever. He makes people laugh. He's a charismatic personality. He can be controversial at times. That is for sure. I am very proud to call him a dear friend of mine. He's an absolute saint of a human being. Him and his wife both. I have known them for very, very many years, and I'm proud of that fact. I just want to drop some things on you in case you forgot, though. In case you forgot about this man. He's a 2-time Bassmaster Elite Series Angler of the Year. The hardest title to win in bass fishing, period, end of story. 2-time. He has 56 career top 10s. 56 career top 10s. He has $2.4 million in career earnings. That is just on the Bassmaster side of things. He's a bow-legged Bama bass fisherman. And he is Gerald Swindle, the G-Man.
Got some old bald head, look like a big burnt biscuit, half medium.
Well, with that, ladies and gentlemen, lowlifers of all ages, the burnt biscuit himself.
Looks like your grandma's with butter on it, just shining on the top.
Real butter, too, by the way.
Not
that fake crap. Gerald Swindle returns to Low Budget Live.
We're back in with the lifers tonight.
With the lifers, and we did a whole podcast, which me and G, when we get together, we solve all the world's problems. Y'all need to know that.
Quick.
And one of these days when he retires from bass fishing and he writes a book and he goes on a book tour, he's probably going to want a podcast too, because everybody's got a podcast. Me and him will do one. It'll just be me and G solving the world's problems.
And it'll be just straight out, and it'll be it'll be like onion soup. It'll be a little hard to swallow at times.
Probably.
But it'll open your mind up after a while.
Yeah.
Because I have people all the time that say, man, you ain't had much to say on the internet about all this. I was like, dude, I can't say nothing else right now.
No, I believe that.
I'm a Christian. I'm not going to say nothing else right now.
You mean that you've been silenced? You feel like
I ain't been silenced. I just think after a while you're just like, I mean, you ever stood in the Dollar General and watched somebody high sharping through the pork and beans and rustling the paper sacks, and your mind wants to call them out, and you're like, it ain't worth it tonight. I'm just going to sit here with my Sprites in my hand. That's where I am a lot of times. It's just like, it ain't even worth trying. But there will be a day. And you're right. We're joking about it, but I am. I really got a lot of stuff jotted down, and there will be a day when I release 2 books, and I don't want it to be a bad thing. You just want to shed the light. The first book's going to be called A Whole Lot of Want To, and it's going to talk about what it takes in any business, not just fishing. For instance, what you're doing, startup businesses, what you've worked on before, you're doing your podcast. It's got to have a lot of want to sometimes. The business plan, most time when you read it, it sucks. Like if you looked at it, you're like, this ain't going to work. So I want to, that'd be one of the things we talk about in the book. But the second one will be egos, logos, and psychos. Now, I'm not saying me and you'll be featured in there, but James Watson will probably be in there 3 or 4 times.
You'll be on a damn cover. Yes. Under the word psycho. On a boat dock somewhere.
Yes, listen, on a boat dock.
Did you ever think, you and I have known James a long time, did you ever think at any point that his whole platform in life will just be to talk about boat docks all the time. He's just a damn boat dock guy forever.
He's just a damn boat dock guy. I mean, I love him. He's just fishing boat docks. And he's actually went out and fished the opens, and I like it. That's something I think everybody should look at in fishing. That just, without saying nothing and getting in trouble, that shows you just how bad things can be sometimes. What happened to him and the position he found himself in. But good for him that he's had some fun with fishing boat docks.
He has a good time with it.
Oh, yes.
Really good. And look, man, he sold a lot of hats. People are like, man, does he really do anything with that? You know, every time it seems like I meet a lowlifer somewhere, they're like, man, does he really do good with those hats? I'm like, yeah, buddy. Yeah. He's selling some boat dock. I can tell you in the Alabama Bass Trail, I saw right after all that more FBD hats than I did Phoenix Boats hats, and that's rare.
Yep, and I mean, I think it's a cool niche, and I think it's something we're seeing in social media platforms have a lot of really allow people to make some money on apparel. Like I follow a couple of people on TikTok just to watch and learn and see what's going on. But like Richie 250 off TikTok, guy started a company called Southern Strings, and he just sells hats. There's no telling, brother, what this guy sells. When you can buy 500 tickets to a Cody Jinks concert and just put them in your subscribers' boxes, you're on the next level of making money.
I don't know him. I have to look him up. I don't know
Richie too. Just a guy that just starts making stuff and started making hats, and so like I do think there in the fishing world we've needed that a little bit in the social platforms, but now what it's happening so quick, I wonder how long the market can take it because they're all doing it.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, man. I actually had a question for you in my notes, and I guess this is perfect kind of segue to it because there's you got people that stir the pot, right? I've been accused of that a time or two, and I will gladly say yes, I can stir the pot from time to time. But now you've got people that are like making the post. It's like opposite world, right? It's bizarre. You got people that get clicks because they piss and moan about the people that get clicks talking about what's going on. It's weird. They live in opposite world, but is there more drama in fishing now than ever because you've done it for a very long time? Okay, well there's two parts. So is there more drama was the first part, and the second, or is social media, because there's this need to constantly have something to talk about, like you said, does that expose it more? Because in 1997 at a Bassmaster Top 100 at Lake Gaston, hell, there was probably some drama. You know what I mean? I don't know that.
Nobody knew about it. Yeah.
You in the way.
That's a good point you make. Like, is social media bringing it more to the forefront, or I would argue to say it's by far the highest drama-filled organization, not just the one I fish, but other organizations. With exception, I don't see a lot of it in MPFL. I'm not that close to it, but like it just seems like there's a lot more bull crap that's going on, and some of it's not just rumors or drama because I'm there watching it and I'm like, this ain't good, and which is one of the deals. Like I made a shirt this year. There were some things happening, and I'm just sitting there as an OG, because once you get gray-headed or shave your head, you're just known as a guy that can't live scope and you can't adjust. So I'm like sitting there watching, and I'm like, I said, I made a shirt that day that said, what you let slide today becomes a standard for tomorrow. And I was seeing that throughout all organizations. A lot more stuff's getting slid up, just letting it slide. Unfortunately, I think when there's that much money on the line, and I don't know that letting stuff slide sometimes is good, necessarily the best way to do it. No. But you do see a lot of drama. And some of it I've seen with my own eyes, and I'm like, this ain't good.
Well, and I think too, like talking about stuff sliding, I think it's kind of a double-edged sword. It's harder to let things slide now because you do have anglers that text people like that have podcasts and make videos and say, hey, this is going on, and it gets out. But I think it's also there's this feeling of, man, we got to keep a lid on this because if it hits social media, we're screwed as an organization, and that bad press. Like I think that does. And to me, there's no way that's not a thought process sometimes, because these companies are media companies, right? Like they are. Like these tournament companies are media, and bad press like that is not what anybody wants. Nobody ever wants to say Jimmy Don had fish in a basket. Nobody ever wants to say that. Like we got duped. Nobody ever wants to say that.
And one thing, if I could tell the fishing fans, or something that all the fans, whether you're one of my fans or some one of the other anglers or just love fishing, one thing you always need to know right now, and I don't think this is ever said much, and I hope it don't get me in trouble. We all signed a contract that says I can't say shit, bro.
Yeah.
So what really goes on out there, I can't tell you. So what most of the stuff you see from an elite guy or a BPT guy, same reason James Watson's selling FBD hats. He was a little too boisterous. He has it's one thing I like about James Watson. He's a cut up. He's a clown. He's crazy. He probably needs medicine. But there's one thing I love about James Watson.
More medicine.
He needs more medicine. There's no gray area. It's right and it's wrong.
That's right.
And I can admire that in somebody. It doesn't mean that I even have to agree with what you think's right or what you think's wrong. I just like the fact that he doesn't waver off what he feels like is a moral line drawn. So, but sometimes when you stand too strong for your moral line, the consequences with any league can be greater than what you want, because you just said it perfectly. They're all businesses. Nobody wants anything bad to happen. So it's easier to suppress a guy who's angry, like he thinks it might not have been done correctly. Much easier to silence him than it is to do anything else. We've all signed that paperwork that says I can't say anything disparagingly about the league, and I'm not going to. And it's just it's no different than any other business. So you just get bits and pieces.
And you guys know that going in, right? But it's such a bizarre situation. This is what I said about the James thing, especially on here. We said a lot about that. Gee, there were a lot of words that should have been bleeped out. But my mama was rolling over in her grave. Trust me on that. But she was mad at me and my grandmama and my granddad. Maybe not my granddaddy. He was a cusser. But for me, it's there's not many situations in life where a customer, like I go to Walmart's and I say, hey, here's $40,000. I'm going to buy all these TVs, $40,000. And then I get home and none of them work. And I get on Facebook and I go, damn, Walmart's TVs don't work. I bought $40,000 worth of them. And they're like, and then I get a call from the Walton family. I don't think they own Walmart anymore. They probably sold it a long time ago. And they're like, hey, we're fining you for buying all them TVs. And it is, but and again, y'all sign it, you know it going in. But
that's a great analogy, like where we're 1099 customers. And I do agree with what Ben Milliken said about that. I've never had any issues with Ben. Some of the stuff he thinks, I think, is really smart. Other stuff I don't necessarily agree with. But when he basically said, we're just a 1099 employee, that's it. And that's been a hard grasp for me here lately to settle in on it. That's really what we are to any business. You're just somebody who pays them to go to work, and you're paying a lot of money, and you're also saying that you can't say anything. So even if you're right or wrong, even if I think I've been extremely mistreated or lied to or done something wrong to or unfairly DQ'd or whatever it is, I can't say nothing. I mean, you summed it up. Like if you buy the TV and say something, so like it's business, but I signed a contract. I have to play on the field that they provided.
No doubt.
Now, and I just think that's the way the world is. Will that ever be different? I don't know. I mean, maybe when some of the old school guys step out of the sport and they're no longer tied to it. I've never thought about it like that to here lately when I've been sitting up here plowing fields alone thinking about it. Maybe more people will speak out. But right now, on all the things, and maybe it'll provide a better, a better relationship. I don't know. It's a business. They have their business. BPT has their business, and I don't agree with everything Boyd Duckett does, but it's his business, And it's just, there's a lot of drama. To go back to it, I will tell you, I have never seen in the Elite Series, just to be straight, and you and I usually shoot pretty just from the hip straight up. This is probably the worst morale I've ever seen, even before the split, on both sides. Not just saying a BASS or an open guy.
Okay.
I'm just saying in fishing in general. Now, the one league that I don't hear, and I'm not that close to, is the NPFL. But I'm pretty close to you. I'm pretty close to Fat Cat, and I know some guys that fish it, but I don't hear that much over there. But there is a lot of unhappy people. Doesn't mean they're right or wrong. Doesn't mean the league's got to do anything to accommodate them. They're just unhappy.
Yeah.
For whatever reason.
It definitely did seem like 2024 was the year that people, the give a damn switch got broken, because typically you've always been an outspoken guy. And I'll say like Ike been an outspoken guy, but we've seen, and there's several more, but a lot of times you get that PC, right? The pro, the NASCAR post-game speech where it's like, well, I got to thank, Dollar General. I got to thank, you get the speeches, but you don't get the real person. You've always shared who you are very well with people. And I think this year, though, we saw that give a damn switch go to off. And we saw more guys making selfie videos of, I'm going to tell you what, this is bull crap.
Yeah.
More than ever before as far as social media, because you were way ahead of the curve with social media, kind of letting people in behind the scenes and your and Lou's life for so long. And now we're starting to see these guys, a lot of them, and mainly veterans, but man, even I'll say some of the rookies this year have been candid, right?
Right.
Man, this is what's going on. This is what's going on.
And I don't necessarily know it's a bad thing. I
don't think so.
I think someone has a voice and they feel like they need to get it off their chest. That's what social media is for. It's just really weird how I woke up this year, looked around and thought, hell, we got here fast. Fast.
Yeah.
I'm like looking around and I'm like, this was really quick to see the level of mental strain and just that kind of it doesn't, and it doesn't just mean the guy's either catching them or not catching them. It's just stuff starting to weigh heavier. Now, I don't know. And Brandon Polinick made a point. He said something to Carl the other day, and Carl mentioned it to me. And I never thought about this, Luke, but I find it very interesting that Brandon said something to Carl, and I'm probably going to paraphrase it wrong, something about when someone has that much screen time, they talk about how it's not healthy. So when we talk about your kids, if they play, some type of war, what is that? They are Fortnite.
Call of Duty. Call of Fortnite, both, yeah.
Okay, so if a kid has hours and hours and hours and hours and hours of screen time, they say it's unhealthy. It could cause anger issues, mental issues, like he's mentally not, like he's snapping. And I got to the end of the season this year, and I sit in that weighing line after hearing Brandon tell Carl tell me that, and I thought, hell, he might be on to something. Because so many guys were just staring at a screen all day, like it, love it, hate it, whatever you do. Take that. It's all irrelevant. Yeah. That's how you do it. So at the end of the day, is that guy more mentally put out? Is that what made his give a dams fall out of the bucket? You know what I mean? Like, what's causing that to amp up? Yes, there's drama. Yes, there's things happening. But we got here quick, bro. Like,
you're right.
Quick.
How about that?
Like, and I'm
honestly, y'all are watching, as you're watching, listening to this, that's the first time I've really thought about that we got here, wherever here is. But we did get here fast. And I don't mean from a technology standpoint, it just with so many things going on. You always will find a way to say something that is prolific to me. And that is one that may seem like a simple statement, but it is. We did get here quick.
Mm-hmm. And you're seeing the temperament of people that I never thought would be that type of temperament that I trust and know. They never say it publicly. They don't, but you watch them and talk to them and know them, and you can tell, like, this guy's one bad decision away from stomping baby chickens and Tractor Supply. Like, he's like, something's not right there.
Clark Wendlandt. Think about that. Like the open letter from Clark. Like, that's, Clark. You've known him a lot longer than I have, but I know Clark fairly well.
Very quiet guy. Like,
that letter pops up and I'm going, whoa, like that one shocked me. And it was an outpouring, but man, he was like, hey, this is where I'm at. And I loved it.
And I can respect the fact that he just poured his heart into it.
That's what I'm saying. I love it.
He didn't tell you he didn't have to agree with it. This is just things that he sees.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate for that particular subject, the FFS. It's really like the debate between the presidential debate. Like there is no happy medium. You're either, if they hate you for if you say, maybe 5 years from now it could be detrimental. Oh God, no, you got gray in your beard, you can't do it, you old bastard, go home and quit. No, just tell me what my grandbaby's gonna catch in 5 years. That's all I want to know, man. Tell me what my grandson Bennett's gonna catch when he's 15. If you can and I've even had more people talk about that, like no matter what side you're on, you get attacked. Clark was just spilling his heart, man.
That's right.
And he got blistered on so many levels. A lot of people understand it, but he was willing to come out of his shell. And Clark's not normally that guy. So, yeah, we got there quick.
We did. We definitely took a turn. This is all I'm going to ask you about those 3 letters, because I'm honestly about 3 or 4 weeks straight talking about all these changes and what could be coming, and then what did happen. And last week's Duncan Butts episode with the one and only Josh Butts, we had cue cards doing breakdowns for the people to explain all the changes, because it is definitely confusing, because you got Bass doing this with inches of screen. MPFL made it the easiest. They just said you're not having it, and then MLF's like, well, on day 1, you can hop up and down on your right leg, and you can use it on day 2. You hop up and down on your left. I mean, I like some of the stuff they did, but they have so many different tournament trails. It's different every single one. It's hard to keep up.
But it seems like, whether we agree with it or not, that MLF tried more restrictions. It's pretty complicated.
Yeah.
But they tried to make it work. And like I said, I don't always agree with what Boyd does.
Yeah.
But I talked to a sponsor that said they met with them, and Boyd talked about the lack of participation in co-anglers, and they really linked it back to FFS. And they felt like that. They felt like maybe what we were gaining on the lower end of the new guys coming in was being washed out by just as many older guys going out. So it did tell me that somewhere in there they looked at the future.
Yeah.
Now, did they go negotiate with Garmin? I don't know, but I thought, well, it's a good perspective that they tried. You know what? And I think the MPFL did something great. Okay, whether you agree with it or not, they're going to be themselves. And I think Kyle Welcher said it best: you're not going to compete with anybody else doing their kind of stuff. Be MPFL. If you want to do something different, if you miss it 1 year, big deal. Bring it back in next year.
Yeah. That's what I say. If it doesn't go good, oh well.
But you 100% next year got the only product in the world like that, which I think was smart. I don't think nobody knows the right decision.
No, there's not one really. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, because the cat
I don't know it. Right, we don't know. And of course, you hear people say, "Well, the numbers at Bass, maybe our views are up, or these views are up." Would they be up without it? We don't know.
We don't know.
You know what I mean? Like, there's a surge in younger people fishing. Well, a lot of that's because that's the same people that was in the 7th grade during COVID.
Well, and there's been such a big push on high school and tournament fishing for the last 10 years also, right? So there's been an influx of younger, but way before Live Scope existed. Now, I will say, I think that obviously the younger anglers like it, because they do spend so much time on screens. But my question for you on it is, if you could set up a dream scenario, I'm going to put you, this is definitely putting you on the spot. If you could set up a dream scenario, though, because I know I know your fishing style, I know what you like to do, but you'll dang sure go offshore and mix it up. You've done it your whole career. You'll go beat people's brains out skipping docks and skipping buzz baits and sight fit. You can do it all. You've built a career on being consistent. You don't have 56 career top 10s and 2 angler of the years without consistency. My thing is, are you someone that if you could say, hey, I wish it had never came, MPFL got it right, ban it? Or are you someone that like the MLF style? Because I'm more of, hey, it's here. Tons of people have it. Do we hybridize it at least for a year or 2 and try that, where you can use it for 3 events, not use it for 3 events? What would you say is like Gerald Swindle's dream scenario
I thought it would be a 50-50. I thought it would be. I thought if you really wanted to, and I've even talked to some people at Bass about this. It just, and this is just my opinion, probably 100% wrong. But to crown an angler of the year, the guy needs to be versatile. We need to see him do a lot of different stuff. So why not do every other tournament and then flip a coin for the ninth tournament on who gets to, like, what if we use it or not? And what I thought that one of my biggest reasons I thought that would be great for what we do at Bass, Luke, is it would give you a break from it, screen time, where you knew you had one tournament, you had to do it every day, 15 hours a day. But the next tournament in your mind, you're thinking, hey, next tournament, we're going all natural. You know, so I thought it might change the attitude. Then, like what I talked about, how you look at anglers and you could tell that screen time, something's got them angry.
Yeah.
Like, would that help? I thought it would even get people involved in Rapala's fantasy fishing, because you have to think about it then. This is a scopers tournament. So I really tried to look at I literally took a piece of yellow notebook paper, dude, and started writing down everything about it that could be great for the sport and everything about it that could be bad. And not in any of them damn columns, Luke, did I ever write down what was good for me. I just wanted to know what the future of the sport would be. Are we fast tracking things are we shortcutting things, like trying to make it make sense? But I thought, what a great mix to do every other one. Just put your one transducer on and get it, and then it would get the fans involved. But I don't, it didn't happen. I think what we're doing next year and I'm going to tell you, if there's any way possible I can make it happen, I will fish the NPFL. Along with the elites, just for the freedom of this.
6 weeks, you're not going to have to.
And when I put the boat in the water, I'm not like, oh my God. I got 31 kids under 30. Most of them are great at live sonar. I need to get and that's the strategy we have in fishing. So when you put that in there, for me, an older guy, it's going to be very refreshing, because I'm not worried about playing defense about something I can't see. I'm simply going. So I think for me, I talked to Leanne about it. She said, hey, even though the economy may not be great next year, we'll make it happen. We'll figure out how to do it. If there's any way we can do it, we'll do it, because she said, what is it going to be for you mentally refreshing? So I think that's where I see anglers right now trying to find is, where is my mental happy place? Because no matter what anybody argues, they can all say that, that some of the guys in the elites can't scope. They can't do it. That's bullshit. Let me go ahead and tell you 100%. Everybody there can scope. And they're all pretty dang good with it. It's just some of them want to do other things because they enjoy it. That's what they're fighting. It ain't the demon of, I can't do this. I don't know what a fish looks like. It's the demon of, God, I bet they would blast that swim jig over there in that grass.
That.
So, you're battling that demon of, that's that childhood. When I smell an early morning summer bite, and you know what it smells like, when you wake up and the humidity's right and everything's there, you start thinking, I don't think about the time I caught him at Neely Henry on a buzzbait. I start thinking about the time I fished with my dad in the Locust Fork River in the middle of June, and how hot it was, and him catching them on the Hawaiian Wiggler with the topwater bait. That's the stuff we battle. It ain't the fact that, they just suck at it. No, that comes back to them that morning and think, this is why I started. It doesn't make me right. It doesn't make me wrong. It's just simply the reason I started was the love of that, the chasing that. So I think guys have got to find that. And I think the NPFL is going to offer that to some guys to go just be natural, just fish. And, the great thing is we talked about it, and I believe the guys in the NPFL do it. If they realize at the end of the year they were wrong, they'll fix it. But what if they were right? So, that's the discussion I had with somebody at BASS that I was a little bit taken back from. It's like, we know we did this. We got it right. We did all this. And I simply said this. What if you're wrong?
It is I said to Brad Fuller on the show from MPFL, it is a damned if you do, damned if you don't, right? You're not, none of us know what the right answer is in this situation yet. I'm not for a ban, which I've told Brad and said that just because the word ban scares me. But like you said, what if a year from now that was, hey, all the numbers and signs point to, all right, that's what we needed to do. That's where it needs to head. Then we'll know.
That's what I'm saying. Will you be man enough to say, hey, we were wrong? Yeah. That's the whole key versus, a data report or this or that. It's just that part's like really bogged me down. That's why I'm sitting up here with that farm sign behind my head doing a podcast, because I'm spending more time up here the first month out of the season trying to figure out like the direction of not just my league, but all leagues. My nephew's future, little Trey man, like what's he going to be doing? Like, where's this headed? In 4 years, are we just going to completely be high-end software interpreters? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Do you just like get to a point mentally where like, this is all we're going to do? Who knows? I can tell you it weighs on a lot of people. And it's funny. I just wish the fishing community could come together on it more so than to say, hey, we understand what's happening, but nobody talks about that. It's either you can do it or you can't do it.
No, there's a lot. And I actually, before you came on in my intro, I said, in case you forgot, I started rattling off your stats because I've seen that with you in particular. And look, I'm always going to be the guy that defends you. You're like my brother in life. And I'm grateful for that. And for knowing you and Leanne like I do. And y'all have always been big impact in my life in a positive way. But I saw that this year of, well, man, you just down there in them standings, you suck because you can't scope, and so you're mad about it. And for me, man, it's like, and I've joked about this a bunch, the dude that's 100th in the Elite Series points will still train wreck you in your bass club. Like,
and you look at them points and you're like, hey, he's in 90th, and you're thinking, if you just knew the measure of mistake it took to get from 40th to 90th. And, dude, I done it. Like, I had the worst season I've ever had. And you know what? I'm thankful for it now, Luke. I sit back this year, now that it's over, I'm thankful for it because I had never been this low in the points. I'd never had this bad a season. And I think to learn the game, you got to experience it at every level. I've been fortunate to be at the top. I've rode in the middle a lot. I've never been this far down. It's very humbling and it's very motivating. And I got a lot of great lessons from it this year. I tried some things I like, okay, that was dumb. I shouldn't try that again. And it has a lot of times it's just like where the guy's at mentally. It's a fish lose here, fish lose there, blah, blah, blah. But I'm like, I learn from it. I'll work the classic. And I tell all them guys, hey, I take my licks. Y'all whoop my ass. You can't hide that. What did Wisconsin's coach say yesterday? He said, if y'all have never seen a go fast ass whooping, you've seen it. I can't say nothing to them young boys. Y'all whoop shit out of me this year. You did. Okay. Big, that's what happened. You did. But I found something interesting. And when we had our meeting in New York, JT Tompkins had raised his hand and he spoke. And this is some of the stuff that like I take away and I write down on my notes and I study it. He said, what y'all have to know is live scope. And this is a quote, live scope makes it a lot easier for young people to make it into fishing. Now, I didn't say that, guys. Before y'all start emailing me, I didn't. JT Tompkins said that. And, of course, when he finished, I raised my hand, and I'm like, can I speak? And they said, yeah. And I said, when you look in professional sports, no matter what it is, there's nowhere in that process does it say easy. Easy come, easy go. If you can climb to the pinnacle of Luke Duncan's career very easy, guess what? The chances of Luke messing his career up and trying to do it again are pretty great. You know why? Because the trip there wasn't strong enough to make you remember it.
Wasn't hard enough. Yeah.
Wasn't hard enough. Now, how you get there, like, so I really not like when he said that, I'm like, it does. It some levels it fast tracked it. And he said it made it easier to get here. Okay. Is that a great thing? I don't know. You look at the NFL, it's not easy for them guys to get there. So, like, I watch the young guys say it, and they verify some of the stuff that I'm thinking, and I'm like, it doesn't say that they ain't great fishermen. It just says it helped fast track it. Because if you're a Little Alton junior, like, and I'll put Little Alton in one of the top 2 or 3 live scopers in the world, you about to get you some damn ass whoopings. What he about to serve up?
I ain't no doubt about that.
And he's a great natural fisherman, but like it fast tracked his ability to compete at the highest level as fast as he can. Is it good or bad? I don't know. It does fast track it. So, like, have you ever thought about this, that maybe we should have an age limit in which guys could go to the elites? So think about the Major League Baseball. You very seldom see a 17 or 18-year-old playing on the majors. I don't know that I ever have. I remember played center field for the Braves when he came over. Andrew Jones was pretty young from Carousel.
Yeah.
But, like, you don't hardly ever see an 18, 19, or 20-year-old at that level. Okay, so what do they know in Major League Baseball that we don't know?
Well, I think our sport is so different from a standpoint of, again, this goes back to, and this is not throwing shade on anybody, any league, but they are PR marketing media machines. So they need the fact that they can say youngest to ever do it, right? They need those headlines.
Well, and that's what I thought about this
from
year.
a business standpoint, I think, and not saying other pro sports aren't, wouldn't want that.
It's a great story because if you watch University of Alabama play this week in Wisconsin,
17-year-old,
a lot of hype. We got a 17-year-old.
Yeah,
so it's a great storyline. Okay, so I do get that, but I know I heard that a lot this year that this is the youngest, and he's 19 or he's 20. Has anybody got a guy named Bradley Roy? Because see, I by God ain't.
Yeah.
See, and I'll just go ahead and call you out on it. I ain't. He was there at that age. But
he was a baby. He was a baby when he first.
But you know what? And I text Mr. Roy this the other day. You know what I admired about Bradley when he's at that age? You never heard one word about him negative, ever. He did his job. I really admired his dad and what Bradley brought to the game. He was young, dude, when he was in the elite. Now, it seems like now it's much more popular to talk about it, but they're not the first young ones there. Bradley Roy was.
Well, and dude, you were young when you started.
Yep.
I think back like Randy Howell was a really young pro. Even Kevin, when Van Dam, I forget, early 20s, but when did you fish your first bass event? I know you were doing Jerry Ryan and all that.
I was in my early, probably 24-ish, 25-ish when I fished a couple of opens. So I was a little older than them. Like back then, I can remember Zell Rowland was probably the youngest that I'd ever met it done. Because I think
that's right.
His parents had to, didn't his mom and dad or somebody have to sign like a waiver so he could fish?
Yes.
He was that young.
16 maybe. 16.
I think.
Yeah,
16.
I think that was it.
So, and don't get this wrong before, I don't want any bad emails. I'm not knocking anybody young. I'm just saying I look at other professional sports. And in college basketball, you can't go straight to the pros, can you not? Major League Baseball, you
do one year in NCAA basketball now before you can go to the draft.
And even in the college baseball, I think you have to be there a couple of years. And in football, you don't never see nobody coming out of high school. You don't see that 17-year-old that's catching them passes in Alabama look so great. You don't see him playing for the Patriots.
No.
Because I think, I don't know. I want to know what those people know that, is there something mental? Is it an age thing? Is it a timing thing? So I don't know. I guess I'm getting older now. I've been in the sport long enough. You went through all these cycles and you take time to soak it all in. And you're like, all right, what's different now? Why are we having email after email or rule infraction? Why is this stuff happening so much? Back in the day, I don't ever remember it that much. When me and you fished the opens, if somebody done something, broke the rule, it was a big deal.
Really big deal.
Really big deal because Dewey and Tripp didn't play. So, I wonder.
Harbin, you remember Chuck Harbin?
I love Chuck.
Yeah, Chuck didn't play either.
Chuck was like mellow magic to me.
Yeah.
This is mellow and magic, but you didn't want to cross it.
Yeah.
So, why are we seeing that more? And you brought it up. Is it because of social, or is it because we have more people into fishing and more new faces coming in and out? Is it something? Do people not understand the rules that clearly? I don't know.
I think, and dude, and we could talk all night about just the world being different because it is, and it makes me sound like an old man, and you sound like an old man when we get talking about this. Like we're on the front porch at the Cracker Barrel, going, "Damn, you believe these cars?"
And I'm about ready to be there with them.
I am too.
I start about listening to my grandpa. It's funny you say that, but I start thinking, I used to sit on the porch with him, and I thought, God, he's just old, but now he's a genius.
He got it. He got it. But I think we're seeing, man, because you see it in. I saw a college football video this morning. Some kids had gone on Instagram Live, just acting like you never would have seen them act before social media. Were they acting like that when they won a big game? Probably. But did you know it, or did they feel the need to share it? No. And I think now, all I can base it on is fishing, but I think now this constant need to update, to tell everybody that you're on top, that you're doing good, and they all, especially the younger generation, came up in that world where they feel like if they ain't right there at the top, they are not succeeding. You know what I'm saying?
It's a gratification.
Yes, and
you got to be rewarded. Yeah. And I think, and this is going to be a reach, but just stay with me on this. I think it's not just it's the world in general, because it never fails. If we have one school shooting, within 2 or 3 days, we're going to have another one.
1,000,000%.
Wow.
1,000,000%.
Seeking attention. Is it because they had their minute of fame? Like, why are we seeing that? Because I seen the LSU player, when he scored or something, did something other, he gets up, starts doing the gun signal, shooting somebody. Well, I seen 2 college players doing that yesterday and doing this. Hell, y'all don't bow hunt. You need to be holding a crossbow. You be the fool wearing damn Sitka out there. You with a crossbow. You ain't no bossy old wearer.
I ain't ever gonna get a Sitka deal now.
Yeah, and they up here doing this, and I'm like, okay. So I'm watching these. I'm like, so what is that? Is that because they seen someone do it, and now when we celebrate, like you said, we got to do what we've been seeing.
Yeah. And dude, I can't lay all the blame on that on social media, because I remember and I say this with the most love that I can say anything. I am an average white person, Gerald Swindle. I'm an average white. Okay. I'm short. I am fat. I am slow. But when I was about 12, I thought I could be Michael Jordan. All right. And we had a dunk goal in our driveway that would lower down so my little stubby ass could jump up there and rattle the rim. But I would do this
anybody that wanted.
I'd stick my tongue out because I saw Mike. I wanted to be like Mike. So I can't say that this is new to copy shit that you see.
I try to jump a bike ramp. Right.
And you see 100 of it, more of it now than ever before.
I said something to a guy the other day who was talking about what's going on in just in fish in general. And I said, dude, I feel like more people now fish for clout instead of cash.
Yes.
It's not about making money. It's not about a business. They either come from a background where making the money is not that important, but it seems like the clout's a lot more important, or trying to get that respect. It's the weirdest thing when I'm watching it. I'm like, I don't know if you truly love it or you're just trying to get the likes. But I think a lot of it's just for likes, dude. Like on social media, those likes are a dime a dozen. I mean, all you got to do is buy some big titties. You can be a dude and put them on. You're going to get some likes.
And not be bored. Dude, you'd never be bored.
No. You could just throw a buzzbait. I can throw my Buckeye buzzbait down the bait.
Can you imagine? Dude, Watson would never catch a fish again if he had them.
James Watson would never put a shirt on. So, like, all jokes aside, you're like, is it clout? Is it cash? Is it for me, when I started, dude, it was about trying to make money. You know what I mean? Like, it was like coming from framing, or I say poor background, but like it was all about trying to make it make sense, how to make a living, how to build a budget on it. I don't see that a lot anymore. And it's a different time. It's a different generation. It's a lot of different people out there fishing, because when I was young and fishing, I mean, skeet was a tile layer and a ex-stripper. I was a house framer, a sheetrock hanger. Like, all the young guys out there were eating potted meat and staying all in the same hotel room. There wasn't nobody going, hey, here's y'all American Express. When it runs out, call your mama. No. Hell, we didn't have a phone. I drove to New York.
You better not call her.
Map. It was collect. I'd be calling. I called collect my mom. I said, and we always used my Uncle Earl, which was a drunk. If I called my mom, collect, says Earl on the phone, she knew I got there safe. So she just hang up on me. I mean, that's a different time. I mean, that's just how, and I'd walk a half a mile to a payphone just at night. So go tell your mama you made it to New York. So it was different. It was about trying to provide money. Hell, I guess we're just old, Luke.
But it was about, and I'm not saying anybody's not chasing a dream anymore, but I think Justin Atkins and I actually had this conversation. We were talking about overall expenses, and I mean, man, life is expensive in general, but then when you're trying to be a bass pro, sometimes the dream is you don't make near as much as you put into the dream, right? Like financially,
Right.
like it just is. And I think that for you, and knowing you like I do in your story, it was about you loved that from an early age, fishing with your dad. And then you were like, hey, I'm pretty damn good at this. I've made some money doing this. I don't want to frame houses forever. By God, I want to go do this with a buzz bait, and you figured out you could. And that's what led you to being what you are now. And I think so many times that dream is not as bright as what it was for y'all.
Right.
And maybe
even for my nephew, even for like when I look back at Trey and some of these younger kids, I'm like, I don't know if I know it, like everything I know now. If I'd have known 5 years ago, I might have told Trey something different, man. I mean, I hate to say that, but I'm like, I don't know that I would be like, hey, the dream still as catchable as it ever was. All dreams are catchable. It's just going to come at a hell of a high price right now.
No doubt. No doubt. And sometimes when you catch them, me and my wife had this conversation too this week. I said, sometimes when you catch them, you go, all right.
I didn't want it.
Here.
I didn't want it. If it fell in your lap, slap that shit out of there because you didn't
Exactly.
like it.
Falls in your lap.
So like,
a wise man told me that one time.
I think there's something to that you're like, I realize and I use my nephew. I mean, I talk about him a lot. He's a little turd head there, but like I see what he's going to have financially. And he don't have anybody in his family that can sit there and do that. No. He's going to have to try to figure out a way to do it on his own. And it's going to take a lot of money just to get him to that process. So it's a tough sale.
It is so hard to wrap my head around where it's at now. And this is not a knock on the organization of Bass or anything, but I was sitting here with Trey last night. He called me. I said this earlier in the show before you came on. He said, hey, man, I'm tired. I don't want to drive all the way to Bama. Can I stop at your house? I said, always welcome. You know that. Come on. So we said he got here about in time to watch the last half of the Kentucky-Georgia game. We watched it. And we're sitting on the couch, and we're looking at the Angler of the Year points and the opens because we were seeing where it all kind of shook after the final day there. And he's having a good year, man. He's in the 20s in the points, right? Any tournament trail on earth after 8 events against that crowd, if you in the 20s, you're doing damn good for yourself.
With 225 grown-ass men coming
exactly.
And he's disappointed.
And the way it's set up, though, with the top 9 and they don't have an Opens championship, guess what you get? Nothing. Thanks for coming. Nothing. You don't get anything. He's going to go one more to Hartwell, and he's not discouraged. Trey's not discouraged, but he is a little upset. I will say that over not being closer to the top 9. But it's like what I was trying to tell him on the couch is, brother, you're having a hell of a year. If you were on the Elite Series and finished 27th every year in the points, guess what? You're going to have a hell of a career.
A hell of a career.
I mean,
but in their mind, all they have through the EQs is the top 9.
That's it.
That's what you're fishing for.
That's it.
So when you realize you fell short, it ain't like, going in the Elites, we have the Classic and we have the AOY. So if you don't win AOY, but you finish 34th in the points, you got that nice Classic bonus. With them, if you didn't get the hot and crispy donuts when they come out of the oven, well, you go home with cat shit in the sack. You just don't get nothing this year.
Exactly
and
right.
I think that's a hard step for him. I was like, okay, I didn't. And I tell him, I said, son, keep your head up. Keep grinding. He said, Uncle G, some of these guys don't miss. They land on them every time. I said, your time's coming. Just keep it. But you got to have a little bit of that blind faith and will to make it. You do.
And look, man, I think if anybody I know makes it to that stage, it'll be Trey. I really do. Like I've spent a lot of time with Trey in the boat. Trey he's came so far in the last few years, and he's changed the way he's really focused on the scope stuff because he's like, hey, I'm getting my teeth kicked in out here. And
I told him, I said, hey, son, do it. Do it.
Yeah.
Don't look up. And I want everybody to know, every low lifer out there listening, Uncle G ain't paved that road for him. Now, Uncle G got a little sponsorship. I pay him a little money to promote my stuff. But me and Lulu ain't handed him no credit card.
No,
I ain't sent him 100 blue dots in every tournament. But guess what? If he does make it to the elites, you can bet your ass, no matter where it's at in this world, when he qualifies, Uncle G will be standing there to hug him. I'm going to be able to look at everybody around me and say, he did it 99% on his own.
Yep.
And that's a big thing for me, because I know if he can do that on his own, the rest of it should come pretty natural.
Listen,
you go through the opens too easy. You get a lot of, like, whatever it is, your rest of your career is an uphill climb.
I watched him get his suitcase out, last night out of his truck, and he's got a bed in the back of his truck, the Brandon Polinick style. And I hugged his neck when he pulled up, and, he's getting his stuff out, and I ain't seen him in a little bit. And I told Marissa Days, he's driving off, I said, you got to want it. And he wants it, and just, you got to want it. And I do think that makes a long-term career. And I know he'll get there, man.
It makes a great human being.
No,
whether he wanted to be a musician. I can remember, Luke, when you spent every spare moment you had driving back and forth to Nashville to write songs. You would have wrote songs in a porta-john. If somebody said, Luke, we're meeting inside the Blue Shitter tonight to write songs.
I might have.
Luke Duncan would have worked. He would have worked at TH and drove up there. You wanted it that bad. You have to have it. And that's what I was telling Trey, like back in the early spring, he's like, Uncle G, things are going to be tight. Money this. I said, hey, Ham, you ain't got the money to be spending on Airbnbs. I said, your uncle would fish 15 years before he started staying in Airbnbs, and only stayed a couple years, now I'm back in the camper. I said, get you a camper. He said, well, I don't have the money to get a camper. I said, me and Lulu will help you get a camper. You're going to build a bed in it, and you're going to start sleeping in your truck. I wanted him to grow up like that, where you got to show me you want it. You know what I mean? Like, if I noticed this the other day, and this is, I hate to use the letters FFS again, but I seen somebody make a comment the other day that if MPFL takes away forward-facing sonar, I won't fish. So I'm like, so if the Game and Fish come to me this year in bow season and said, you can't shoot a weight-fronted arrow, hell, I'm going to quit, boys. Are you a lifer? I need Trey to be a lifer. You know what I mean? I need him to tell me, Uncle G, no matter what happens to me, I'm a lifer. I'm going to be fishing regardless. If somebody takes your deucer away, it doesn't matter. Somebody gives you 4 more deucers, it doesn't matter. You're going to fish. And I told him that again the other day on the phone. I said, Trey, you were standing at Mille Lacs when your uncle won his last AOY. And I said, when they handed me that trophy, what I tell Dave Mercer, I said, I just love to fish. If I go home and you take it all away, I'm going to either wear a sleeveless shirt or no shirt, and I'm going to go back out and start fishing. That means you're a lifer. That means the desire is sit inside you to be successful at some level. If someone were to take a few of your toys away or tell you that you couldn't do it just the way you wanted every day, that you would just quit and not even do it anymore, then that's probably all you need to know, that you don't need to be doing it anyway. I mean, songwriting, you would have walked to Nashville. I knew you. You would have walked to Nashville to write another song. You wanted it that bad. That's something that you can't gain in college. You either got it or you don't, man. And fishing, you're going to be upside down a hell of a lot more than you're going to be right side up. There's going to be a whole lot more days where you walking away from a tournament like I did in New York, going, with that coming fast. I mean, I felt like Mike Tyson done hit me, but there's nothing you can do about it. Do you just quit, or you just shake it off and say, okay, learn me some lessons, going to do better? And that's all I want to hear Trey say. When it's over, I want him to say, learned a little bit, G. I know what I did wrong, and I won't do it again. That's all you can ask for out of your children or somebody you're mentoring or whatever. Just let them know that I learned something. Mm-hmm. So he's a good one. Sleeping in that truck ain't going to hurt him. Lulu worries about it. No.
It's set up.
I said he's 4'12". I mean, he can turn sideways in that truck.
I do got to tell this on him. He said, he was walking out when he was leaving this morning, and there was a quarter in my driveway. I said, you want to see how damn spoiled my kids are, son? I said, they just damn walking over a damn quarter, and I put it in my pocket. He said, I tell you what, I'd have killed for that damn quarter a couple nights ago at the campground. He said the shower took a quarter. And he said, I stripped down butt ass naked. And he said, I didn't have a damn quarter with me. And he said, and I ain't had nothing in my truck, so I didn't get to take a shower that night. He said, I had to go to sleep in the Chevrolet smelling like damn fish.
Smelling like butt grease and dog farts.
Because I didn't have a quarter. Oh, me. I was like,
What?
well, here, you need this one. Here, buddy.
So what we look at that is that we call that buying memories. So, like,
That's
I've had
it.
this weird perspective the last couple of years, like spending money. Like, I'm taking Leanne with me on my elk hunt. She's going to go out a few days early. I bought her a couple of days of trail riding. I'm taking my daughter back to New Mexico to shoot a mule deer and an elk. Somebody says it costs a lot of money. I said, I don't look at it as spending money anymore. I look at it as I'm simply buying memories.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all Trey's doing. That one quarter was probably one of the best memories he'll remember that he didn't have.
Yeah. Listen,
You know,
man.
so I'm like, life's about that.
I ain't no doubt I got so tickled. I'll never forget that. Just because, immediately he's like, damn, let me tell you. And, Trey's animated. I don't know where he gets that from, but he's animated to tell me his story. Speaking of memories, I want to close with this one. So we lost two legends in the sport, not lost. They're still around, but they're leaving us. Mark Zona and Rick Clunn. You're the best storyteller I know on earth. Give me your best Zona that you can tell publicly.
That's a tricky one.
Because Zona will watch this and go, especially Karen, sweaty immediately, like, oh God, he has, and your best Clunn. Give me your best Zona, best Clunn interaction with Gerald's story.
Clunn's very unique, and Clunn was always quiet. And I can remember I was young, man, and Rick kind of embarrassed me. One time we were checking in at Okeechobee, and him and Melissa was pretty new at the time, and you got to say it, she's hotter than donut grease, and there she stands checking in with Rick, and
Facts.
I didn't really have a place to stay, working on something in the room me and Marty Stone had was like a single or something, and I forget how it come up. Rick was checking in, and he turned around and looked, and he said, well, gee, you want to just stay with us? And, dude, I just froze. And I think he was kidding, but I was like, wouldn't nothing come out. I was like, I'm going to sleep with Big Harry Marty. Don't worry about me. So, like, Rick embarrassed me. Like, Rick's like, normally don't do that to me, but he got me pretty good, man. He was like, I got you pretty good. Z, dude, I can tell you 1,000 about that.
I know.
We went and fished at Pentlala when Ray Scott was living, and I'm gonna tell you what, if nobody's ever heard Mark Zona do Ray Scott, it is amazing. Because he'd get down there and he had him a couple beers, and he kept walking over to me, and he had him a little glass of scotch, and he'd shake it. He'd go, hey son, you want to get some scotch and water? It's Ray Scott down here at the Pentlala. And he had that leather vest on with the sleeves cut out, and I'm thinking, you my kind of folks, Z. You my kind of folks. But one thing about Z can make you laugh. He can make you cry. Z will be missed. Z was a big part of fishing. He's been in it as long as I have. And him and Tommy Sanders, hands down, is probably two of the greatest that's ever did that position at that job right there. And he will be missed, man. He will be missed. And I talked to Z a little bit about it, and I think mentally you got to get to where your happy place is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And props for him for looking for that. I think so many times, and I'm guilty of it. I'm pretty sure you have been. We've chased. Shouldn't say chased a dream. I've chased being a provider for my family, my children, my wife, whether it was my brother, my mother and daddy. I wanted to be the provider that they raised. I wanted to be the guy there. If something happened, I can step up and say, I got you what you need. So I chased that hard, Luke. And it comes with a cost. Mm-hmm. I have missed more graduations and birthday parties than it should be legal to do. So you mentally get to a point in life where you're like, okay, what is that worth now? What is that worth? And I think I could see that's for like, maybe it was the guide. It's like, where's my mental happy place? Do I have to do this, sacrifice that? But and it's not just fishing. Cross country truck drivers do that. Military people do that. You were willing.
Salesman.
Salesman. You guys burnt the road up more than us, and you wasn't getting away in on the stage every now and then with a big hoopla crowd. You were meeting, but you were a provider. You had kids. You had a family. Like you were the guy that's like, I'm going to do this. That years and years of that comes with a mental baggage.
Again,
sometimes you got to pay the piper.
That's catching that dream and going, all right.
You
I
got it
for a little bit, but all right, I get it. But
it starts getting heavy.
Mm-hmm.
You've caught that dream, you've embraced it, and your wife's been there with you, and you've loved it, and you walked it, and you walked it, and you walk it, and then all of a sudden you're like, man, this is heavy. This is heavy, and then you come home and you find out your mother has breast cancer. Your situation. You come home, and I see my mother's health depleting. I come home and I see my grandbaby girl's grown up and her hair is longer and she looks more older, and I'm like, so then I start to question, like, if hoping that everything I've ever done, I don't want to say is in vain. That's not a good word, but like you're hoping that what I've done has been the right things, and not having that regret. And that's my biggest concern in fishing, is for the day, whenever that day comes on down the line, when I finally set those rod and reels down and I say, hey, I've had enough, I don't want to regret the journey. And, maybe that's where Zona was at. Maybe he's at the part where he's like, you know what, I'm at the point now where if I keep climbing, I'm going to regret it.
No, I get it. I do a lot of soul searching. You know that. You and I have a lot of soul searching phone calls. I've had a lot with Mr. Zona over the years as well.
And I think that's just growing up.
It is, man. No, it definitely is, because when you're in your 20s and your 30s, you're like, dude, this is all I want to do, and I want to be on the right. I can remember, Ray Brazier. Yeah. Shout out Ray Brazier. Ray Brazier's from my hometown, and I can remember talking to Ray. He used to take me to shows, tackle shows and stuff when I was a kid, and taught me about sponsorships and all this. And Ray was fishing the Invitationals Opens at the time, and Ray was sponsored by Honda and Triton and all this stuff, and he was like my hero, man. And Ray. And he ended up hosting Fishing University television show. Ray's always been super kind to me in my life. And I can remember being like 16, and Ray would be like, well, yeah, I got to go here this week. And then next week I'm in Connecticut. And then I got to go here. And dude, I just remember going, man, I can't wait till I can tell somebody, man, next week I'm in Florida. And then, next week I'm in Georgia. And then next week I go to Texas. And because it was so cool to me, I was like, this dude right here. And then I got that, and I'm sitting there going, damn, I got to go to Texas next week. Damn, the next week I got to go to Florida. And then I got to fly back home for a couple of days. Then I got to go back and get my truck and boat and go here. And then I got to go do this for TH. And go. I said, that wasn't near as cool as Ray made it sound.
No. And people will be like, hey, G, where are you headed? And I'll be like, honestly, man, if I tell you, it's going to make me tired just talking about it.
Exactly.
So let's just say I'm going to be somewhere, because it's the price of success for what it can take away from you in anything. Is a high price.
It can be.
And where people balance that out, I admire that. When I watch other professional athletes and I see them balance that, I'm like, that's pretty cool. They knew where they were at. They walked it back. But I need you to leave it on this note. We're always into music, so what's something new you're listening to? Like, I know Luke's always got a new artist or something he's jamming to.
Man, I am blistering the new Sturgill Simpson album. I've been listening to it for a while. It came out, probably back in May. But I've been blistering it. But there's a guy named Stephen Wilson Jr. I think I've sent you. He's got the song Father, Son. Yes. I've been listening to Stephen a lot this year. I'm always listening to Turnpike Troubadours. But I've been listening to that. I've been listening to Sierra Farrell. It's this cool little chick out of West Virginia. She's really, 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 really cool. Really good songwriter. Been listening to kind of folky stuff. But you know me, then I might put in some Eminem. So like,
just break it on up.
I mean, I'm listening to
Kevin. I'll just bust some Kevin Gates. My wife will be in between all her Christian songs, and we're driving, and she'll say, "What you want to hear?" And I'll be like, "Some Kevin Gates," and she's like, "Lord help him, Jesus."
Yeah, I told Marissa, I think the new Sturgill came out the same day as the new Eminem, and I've said I've never been more conflicted in my life.
I'm gonna tell you a song that I've kind of been intrigued with is that new Miranda. I don't know if it's new or not, but that Miranda Lambert song where she's with the armadillo with the doobie.
So, gotta cut you off. I was just fixing to say this. So, one of the best friends that I made in all my trips to Nashville is a fellow by the name of John Deschus. John wrote that song.
God.
With a buddy of his that I've got to know named Aaron Ratier, who's one of my favorite songwriters. Look him up. He's got some absolute. I've sent you some Aaron songs over time, but John and Aaron wrote the Armadillo song that just came out Friday. It's about smoking a doobie.
Yeah,
I saw Aaron play it opening for Whiskey Myers. Aaron's wrote several Whiskey Myers songs. He opened for Whiskey at an acoustic show last December. Marissa and I went to, and he played it. He's like, "Hey, it's a song about a doobie smoking armadillo that was running from the cops." And I was like, which is very in line. Aaron,
what?
Aaron has a song that says, I'd rather be fishing with my mind on God than in church with my mind on fishing. It's an Aaron song. Aaron's a fantastic writer, but my buddy John, he wrote that. And they've also got the new Lainey Wilson song, 4x4 with You. That's their song. They've got, I think they got 3 or 4 songs on the new Lainey.
I'll tell you another new song I've got to listen to is it's a girl and this young guy singing. It's someone. The name of the song is "Someone in This Room," and I'm trying to think of this kid. He got famous off TikTok. He's on tour now. Bailey Zimmerman.
Yeah, I see his stuff every now and then.
Bailey Zimmerman's got a song with this chick singing, and it is incredible. And I think you would love it, called "Someone in This Room." And it's about 2 people who are married, dating together. They both may have some drug addictions. They're talking about fighting. And it's a crazy good song that now they've woke up one day and realized that they are someone in that room, like a alcohol anonymous meeting or something like that. I heard it one time, got Lulu looking up when he's driving, and she goes, and the chick that's in that song, I don't know her, but like, dude, she can sing like a Janis Joplin style. So I'm trying to get on some of that new stuff, man. But I'm bad about putting Pandora on some 80s country, and just listen to Smoke
Zach
Conway.
Top. Are you listening to Zach Top? You got to be all over some Zach Top, man.
Yep.
I like me some
and
Zach.
I just sang with Luke Bryan and Jason Aldean just redid is it Shenandoah song, Southern Sun in the South?
I don't know. That's it.
They just redid one, and it's supposed to be coming out, and it actually sounded pretty good. One of the old school.
Your buddy Riley Green has got that. Listen.
Hey, when you got arms that big and a smile and a waist that small and can hunt like it, I told him, I said, listen, God made people that sucked, and then God made you that really sucked. Okay, because there's nothing you can't do yet. I mean, you're going to be the guy that dives off a cliff and saves a puppy or something,
Dude, I need my wife to not even know men are supposed to look like that. Or can look like that. Right?
And my daughter, Whitney, be calling me. My daughter, she's going, "Gee, you heard from Riley?" And I'm like, "No." She said, "Hit me up when you do." I said, "It ain't gonna happen."
No.
And my wife's like, "Baby, you ain't got to worry. If he talks to Riley, I'll let you know."
Yeah, of course.
Like what? It ain't even fair,
And killing big deer, killing ducks, killing turkeys, catching fish. It doesn't
matter.
That boy is just doing it. He is. His song though, with that Ella, forget what her last name is. Mm-hmm. "You Look Like You Love Me." That song.
That's a rumor is they're dating.
It would appear. Watching them on stage is a little.
I ain't a Baines guy. She's got them bangs.
I don't know, buddy. You seen her?
I like
bangs. I might. I hope the Triple Threat and Lulu don't watch this episode, but I might like bangs.
You back in the 8th grade going to that junior high dance on air supply and them bangs and that
Be honest,
roof.
She could have cut them herself, but they look like the Lord put them there. She's
hair got there with God scissors, baby. God trimmed that hair. That's some Theo Vaughn shit right there.
It is. God bless her. God bless her. But Aaron Ratier, that's an Aaron Ratier song too. He wrote that one, man. He's all over the place writing them songs.
We got to do. Me and you got to get, and I think I can help us set up. We got to get the Alabama Shakes on the Luke Duncan podcast. If I can get it set up, I'll come on and do it with you if we can get her on. Would you do it with her?
The Alabama Shakes?
Yeah.
Brittany? The girl from the Alabama Shakes? Yeah. I'll do a podcast with Brittany.
You know she loves fishing.
Yeah. She's from Athens, Alabama, too.
Yeah, I think it would be funny as hell.
She's a North Alabama girl.
Right, her on there, like fishing style from Luke.
I'd love it.
You can hit a couple of high notes for her. That girl can sing now.
Yeah, she's something, man. She's on her own now, man. They bust up. She's just doing the Britney thing now.
She no more
shakes. Yeah, the shake. All them boys are living back. They're all back around Athens, from what I've heard. Yeah, yeah. Red Clay Strays. Before we go, that's another Alabama band that's blowing up, man. Them boys are
they from Alabama?
They're Bama boys. Yeah, yeah.
God, that guy.
South Alabama. Yeah, yeah. They're Bama boys. Yeah, they're doing it. I mean, doing it.
They got some good stuff.
No doubt about it. Well, Gerald Swindle. It's always a pleasure.
Fun,
I hope we didn't get canceled. I don't think we did. If me and Josh Butts didn't get canceled last week, me and you ain't getting canceled.
Hey, and let me tell you, old Pat Renwick, he's wanting me and Watson to come on together. I said, son, you looking to get banned.
Yeah, I don't know if that's I don't know if Pat's the guy to referee that. I'm gonna be honest.
That's right. And he texts me, and of course James was right in there. Yeah, I'll do it whenever you want to do it. And I'm like, I don't know about this. I'm scared.
Listen, James, once his filter again, some give a damn switches have been turned off this year. Once James went off, it was great.
Yeah, I mean, James mailed me a package that had nothing in it but a writing on the inside of the box that said "You suck."
Listen, that's why we love him.
With toenails, I had a Ziploc bag of toenails, and it told me how to apply them on a cupcake.
Listen,
with sprinkles.
That brain is not. It's not like a lot of other. He's a one of one, man, just like yourself.
It's not bad at all. Well, let's get together again.
I'm ready, buddy.
And I'm sure maybe at the Classic or something, but let's try to hunt.
Oh, we're going to get together before then. We got deer seasons and stuff coming up. You and I get jealous because you invite the Aussie, the mate, Carl, down to bow hunt, and I ain't been down in a few years.
I'm going to bring a load down because, hey, the Aussies had them all around him, son. They've been, and every day he would come in, he'd be like, he didn't turn, and I'm like, he said, "What is it, G?" I said, "It's the cheapest part of the hunt's the damn arrow, son. Let them fly." He said, "Well, what if we lost him?" I said, "Well, you're sitting here having a cocktail with the owner." Shoot him, you know. But I can admire, like, he wants everything perfect. Did you see he just killed a big elk? He killed
I knew they were there. I didn't see that.
Yep, he got it done. He texted me last night and said, "Mate, I finally got it done," and sent me a picture of him. That's awesome.
Good, man. I know he's done that 2 or 3 years in a row, right? And he hadn't killed one.
That public land hunt with that bow is tough.
That's brutal.
He told me, like, last year he lost like 9 pounds and had shin splints. I'm like, yeah, I'm out on that.
Yeah.
Because let me tell you something, Mate's in pretty good shape. I'm not going to rerun.
He's in pretty good shape. And hey, as I mentioned earlier, average white right here. I'm not going to the mountains.
Hey, I'm average old white right now. I don't even have good side to side.
If a damn 6x6 roams out here in southern Middle Tennessee across the back porch as I'm having a cocktail, he might die. But other than that, I ain't chasing his ass across yonder mountain.
Up there, and I'm leaving Saturday to go to Colorado. But I'm gonna tell you, if he's bugling way up there, I'm gonna wait him out till he gets down here.
I watch a lot of videos, hunting videos out west, and when the guy says, "Well, he's a couple valleys over," I'm like, "When we going back to eat macaroni and cheese?"
Yeah. They still got them hot biscuits down at the gas station with Susie one wing.
You know what? I bet a damn ribeye. I bet we go get a ribeye somewhere. We ain't even gonna have no backstrap tonight.
And I'll be telling them, "Hey, I got a credit card here. If you want me to get your biscuit, we going back right now."
Y'all got any help coming to a feeder?
You know it's gonna be tough when you're going elk hunting, and I'm going back out the same place. And old boys guided me to old Clay out there, and I asked him last year, I said, "Clay, what'd you do before you got into this?" He said, "Oh man, I rode bulls professionally for about 16 years." I said, "Shit, it's gonna be a long week for me, ain't it? Because you can't hurt them guys."
No, they done been hurt enough in life.
Yeah. He had on square toe cowboy boots and a belt buckle, just wow. And I'm like, "Yeah, this ain't gonna be good."
No, man, I've never done it. I want to do it, but I gotta be a little less than what I am right now, weight class wise.
Hey, I'm putting it on too. You know what I tell him? I was like, "Hey, last year he was burning up the mountain." I said, "Hey, Clay, you can get there before me, but you ain't got no arrows."
Yeah.
I'm just saying, bro. I can appreciate your ambition, but without me, we ain't a team. We ain't gonna make love unless we together. So you can get up there, but if I ain't up there, we ain't got a sandwich. So you might as well wait on me, bro.
Damn it, Clay.
Simmer down, Clay. Simmer down, son.
You said My bow-legged Alabama self is got the bow.
Tired. He's tired. He said, well, he's up there bugling. I said, well, he'll be up there in a few minutes when we get there. So,
Or 3 valleys over.
Yes. All the lifers, thanks for y'all having me.
All
I
right,
appreciate the
Gerald
love.
Swindle, thank you, buddy.
See you guys.
As always.
Well, as always, it's a pleasure with the one and only Gerald. You're guaranteed to laugh. He might push your buttons every now and then. You never know. But love me some G. Glad he could join us. It's been a while, man. We talked about there. It has been a while since he has been on LBL. And that's not by design. It's not by design at all. But he, I feel like he's one of those guys that gets asked to do this a lot, and you do see him pop up. And with Gerald, like his social media, he does his own videos, and he gives you his opinion so much. It's a reason I don't do a lot of podcasts that I get asked to do, is because I'm do this weekly. I tell you this. So Gerald's making posts every day. He's out there. He's mixing it up. And so we just haven't done one in a while. And this week we were on the phone, and I'm like, hey, we gotta do an LBL. It's been a minute. So appreciate him doing it, taking some time out. Appreciate each and every low-lifer. Y'all tuning in. As always, I'm going to take you out with some Biloxi Blues. And I'll see y'all next week. Go Vols. See.
Damn these Biloxi blues, it happens every night. And I ain't never met a riverboat dealer that could ever be a friend of mine. The summer heat never treats me kind, it leaves trouble on my mind. So I'm bidding farewell, putting in my notice, and I'll see you at another time.